like we have a specific day called the Yoga Day.
Yeah.
And today is the Yoga Day.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Yoga Day? Like what is something that people should know on this day, and what is something that they should do on this day?
Yoga Day for me is not so much about the postures and the perfection of it all, but it's really about what happens outside of the mat. It's how we breathe, how we connect, how we show up. For me, Yoga Day has always been about really remembering that true essence of who you are, the deeper meaning of your own self, self-mastery as we call it here at the Mumbai Balance as well. We really want to discover what is that we are made of really, and how can we connect with that deeper truth of ourselves. And so for us really, if even one person can experience that stillness, that's the real celebration for us for Yoga Day. Meditation sort of came to me through the silence that I started studying yoga and meditation from. So meditation has really been a very, very important and extremely potent tool for me for navigating my life in general. I started this almost a decade ago. I learned the silent mantra-based practice, which comes from a very old tradition. It's a 5,000-year-old tradition. It's an ancient technique. It comes from the transcendental principle of meditation. And so it's a very beautiful, effortless practice, which is so easy to learn, and it just has so many profound benefits to it. So Bombay Balance actually was evolved from a very small meditation focused community that we started almost 10 years ago. We started off with just creating community where we would just come together as people who learned the practice, and we would come together, meditate, have meaningful conversations, and so on and so forth. And then the studio sort of kind of evolved into that, because we noticed that people really wanted to come here to slow down through movement and stillness, and through breath, through connection. And so we started introducing different modalities, but just around stillness more so. So we do a lot of sound baths. We have different events and meditation courses that we host from this space as well. Bombay Balance was really born from that need of creating that space for people to slow down in a city like ours. Yeah, I think the movement in the asanas really help in down regulating the nervous system. So what we usually also do in our course formats and our different events that we host here is we always start with a little bit of movement where the body sort of slows down, and we create space for moving into deeper states of rest and recovery, and that's when we go into the practice of meditation. So what meditation has so many different benefits to the body and the mind, mainly, regulating the nervous system, releasing the body from stress and fatigue, and activating the prefrontal cortex of your brain, which is responsible for better decision making. You're flooding your body with bliss chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, versus cortisol and adrenaline, which is what we are bombarded with most times in the city. So there's so many benefits one has through these different practices, and yoga and meditation are just the number one that one needs to sort of integrate in their daily life. Yeah, I think I would just say, start where you're at, right? So just sit comfortably with your eyes closed, and just bring your attention to your breath. Just start there. Don't overthink it. Just begin with just bringing your attention to your breath. Because even 5 minutes of that can really shift your energy for the day, right? So just 5 minutes of bringing your attention to your breath with your eyes closed. It's as simple as that. And then if you want to dive in deeper, we do different sort of modalities around the sound. With sound is a very big component of what we do here at the Bombay Balance, because sound really helps penetrate the frequencies into the body. That helps release your stress and fatigue on the system as well. But if somebody just wanted to do this at home, that's sort of way to sort of get into a quiet rest of space in the mind. Yeah, most definitely. I think, like I mentioned before, because it has such a profound effect on the nervous system, it definitely is like giving your brain a workout, because you are resetting, you're reorganizing, you're refocusing. So it's we do that for the body when we go to the gym, but we're never thinking about the mind. So there have been several studies and research on how the gray matter of the brain starts increasing when you meditate regularly. And one very fascinating research that's been happening around meditation is that it lights up both sides of the brain. So it lights up your left side of the brain, which is responsible for your logic and your analysis and your thinking mind, right? Whereas the right side is responsible for your creativity and your better decision making, and how do you operate from that side as well. So what meditation does is it lights up both sides of the brain. So now you have access to both hemispheres, right? So you are now sort of operating from there, and that's where the magic happens. What about the perfect posture or the perfect leggings, that we see on social media these days and all of that? Yoga for me, and yoga is the union of mind, body and spirit. And so at the Bombay Balance, we really want people to just go back to the essence of yoga, which is just being you, right? Just being, and not so much about doing, right? So our technique is also called the being technique, because you're accessing the deeper parts of yourself, a deeper truth. We all have this inner knowing that is so clouded by so much happening around us. And so what meditation very beautifully does is it sort of removes all of these layers of conditioning and helps us access these deeper parts of ourselves. And so, in turn, we are getting in touch with our spirit. So yoga, spirituality, it's all a union of everything for me. Yeah, no, most definitely. Like I mentioned, I think social media really reduces it to just aesthetics, which I sometimes feel like is losing its real importance. And so really coming back to the essence, just really coming back to the essence of what yoga is. It's not what you do on the mat, right? It's what happens after you're off the mat, right? So it's how you connect with people, it's how you relate to people, it's how you show up. It's your relationship with yourself, So a lot of these things sort of happen post your yoga sort of asanas and things like that.
From the 2000s batch of people, right?
Yeah.
So for me to stay still in one place, it's not possible because we are Gen Zs.
Yeah.
How do you feel? How would yoga, help the Gen Z community, and how would yoga actually make them stop, think, realize about different aspects of life?
Yeah, we're living in a very hyper-connected world, so tech-heavy, and I think yoga is not a spiritual luxury anymore. It has become a survival tool, really, for the way we see it now, because we're so highly stimulated by the outside world that this has become really the need of the hour. And I think with the amount of advances that are coming up in AI and different other ways of communicating and things like that, tools like meditation and yoga have never been more important in our society.
Because for Gen Zs, yoga is a very boring term.
Yes,
Like if you tell
exactly. Yeah, so I think there is a lot of misconception around what meditation and yoga is. I can speak more on meditation. There is a misconception of how hard meditation can be, and you know, there are different types of meditation that you know one can practice, but the one that we teach here is a very effortless, simple, easy to learn practice, and it is just, you know, think about it as if it's like a check-in with yourself, right? So it's really about learning the technique, which is a silent mantra-based practice, very easy to learn. It's, you know, you can learn it over 3 consecutive days. We do that here at the studio. It's a 60-minute session for 3 consecutive days, and by the end of the 3rd day, you have a self-sustained practice, which means that you can meditate anywhere, anytime, sitting on the couch, first thing in the morning on your bed, you know, in traffic, on an airplane, you know, you'll never get a jet lag. So, you know, it is by far the easiest form of meditation that you can learn. And, you know, there's just so many profound benefits of meditation, and it's all over the internet, but you know, we call it the productivity tool, really, and the reason why Bombay Balance was given its name is because we don't want to run away from the stress, because you can't, right? Like, everybody is living in a fast-paced city like us, and what we wanted to do is, how do we create a balance in this chaos, and how do we sort of sustain in this chaos? So if you have a tool like this, you know, you just have access to it, you close your eyes, you know the technique, you know, you move into these deep states of rest for 20 minutes, and you're coming out, you know, less stressed, more clear, more focused, more joyful, more connected. So yeah, it's a beautiful tool to learn for all the Gen Zs out there.
So thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
And we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now I hope a lot of misconceptions around yoga and meditation are busted, and I hope you had fun.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Gia. Thanks a lot. And happy Yoga Day to you.
Happy Yoga Day to you.